Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 9 of the Creative Shooters podcast. We've got Thomas is back for another
Hi.
episode of the podcast.
Australian sensation.
Um, we're no longer the duo cast here. We do have a third for this one at
Yes.
least. Who knows going forward, but we at least got him for this one. We've spent about 15 minutes before this podcast attempting to start it, but they couldn't stop laughing. None of the blame is on me.
Oh,
All on
okay.
them.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, just put it all on Thomas.
I don't even know what we're gonna talk about. We're just gonna let it go with the flow here.
Great.
But I do have one thing. CDL Champs started this weekend. Me and Mark said last week that we were at least going to talk about it. At least what has happened so far. And it hasn't been good.
Not at all.
A whole bunch of people getting hit offline and teams losing because of it.
And that's ridiculous. That's the most ridiculous part about it too.
It's the tournament, I believe, in total prize money is $4.2 million. And we're letting people lose because their internet is getting attacked.
It's so stupid. I mean, it sucks it had to go down this way, and we couldn't just have a land event. But
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
And from the teams that have actually advanced so far, it's nothing really out of the ordinary, but it did piss me off that the Huntsman lost to FaZe.
Yeah.
Only because, so Dallas and Atlanta won, and now they're literally, after winning one series, in the winners finals. Because of how the bracket is set up.
That's ridiculous.
Whereas in previous years, they would go through pool play to get their seed, and then have to play those matches based off of their seed off of pool play. But now they just get based off of the CDL points, and they can FaZe can literally win 3 series, and they win fucking champs. Like, that's ridiculous.
That's insane.
Why is it happening like that?
I don't know. That's just the tournament format they wanted to use, which is just
Okay.
fucking ridiculous. Seattle got knocked out day 1. Fucking Octane, I thought it was hilarious. He tweeted, he was like, "Damn, I really just played champs from my bedroom for 30 minutes."
Yeah,
and it was just done.
You can tell that he's over the game. Like, he's been done with the game.
Who else lost? The Gorillas lost. Paris lost today.
Paris,
I think.
That's it.
And then what was the other team? Minnesota's already out.
Yeah.
So Toronto,
not too surprised about it.
Toronto got knocked down to the losers bracket because they lost to Dallas. But they beat Florida, which I can't really say it was a surprise, but I'm glad they beat Florida. Just because Toronto was one of the worst teams in the league until the very final.
They were
event.
they were bad.
And then now they're just going the fuck off. But they're in
Definitely
the losers bracket, so we're gonna see who's gonna play. Most likely Atlanta, because I have a feeling that Atlanta's gonna beat Dallas.
Well, yeah, the Atlanta's gonna make it to the finals, and to be honest with you, they might even win it just because
they're
how stacked
probably
they
going
are.
to win it. Yeah,
their team is unbelievably stacked. It's unbelievable.
I would say, like it's been like this all season, but the only 3 teams that have a chance are Atlanta, Chicago, and Dallas.
Yeah.
And at this point, I really don't think Dallas has as good of a shot as Chicago just because of how well Scump is playing, because that was one of their biggest problems. And
hmm
what was holding them back is Scump wasn't playing very well, but he's playing out of his fucking mind. Now the only thing holding him back is Pristini's playing like shit. Just because he's, the bait player. And that dude has to try to
Yeah.
get first blood every round, and he doesn't get it.
Yeah.
It didn't help that he had to play against Abizi, which is
Yeah, that's
the
true.
person with the most first bloods on
Yeah.
the season. So, but I guess I think more matches are tomorrow, and then it'll go on to next weekend,
hmm
which I don't even know. Like I haven't even been awake to really watch any of them, which sucks. But I don't even really enjoy watching the game, so
Yeah. Honestly, the game's
Mm.
just so stale at this point.
I'll probably only watch the big matches if it comes down to it. But I don't know. It's kind of some whack shit with it being online.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for winners finals to come up and someone gets, or grand finals to come up and someone gets fucking
Yeah.
booted off, and it costs them the series. Like
That'd be
that
so.
is
That
that is
that
a
would be the worst way.
$1 million series right there.
The worst. The worst way to go out.
So do they not have like a contingency for that if somebody gets their internet like DOSed or anything?
No.
Mm,
No, they're just
nope.
like, oh, they left. Sorry.
Yeah, they
pretty
they
much.
say that it falls on the player's responsibility.
Which is ridiculous. You literally can't control that at all.
Yeah,
They
even
act like
like
you
there's
can
Yeah.
no way to
control
get
your
around
internet.
it. If
Well,
somebody knows where your network is, even a VPN won't stop it. Like,
one there was one series, I think at the last home event, where Pristini, his power went out because there was a fucking hurricane.
and it was
And
on
they
him.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Like what?
that's literally specified as an act of God in like insurance plans and stuff, and they said that was on him. Okay. Yeah, cool.
Seriously, it's so
So,
stupid.
uh they do have some replay rules, but they're not good enough to, you know, act against people getting hit offline. I think they've been
Yeah.
playing with a lot of delay on the stream now,
Yeah.
because people were saying that the Chicago New York match was pre-recorded. I don't even think it was
Mm.
pre-recorded. I think they just had to have so much delay on it. But I think they've been
Yeah,
doing that with the matches so far, and there haven't really been any problems since then. But
Yeah.
it took them 2 days to figure that out.
In CS:GO has a thing built in called GoTV, which like you can spectate a live match, but if someone's in competitive, you watch it through GoTV, and it's staggered like something like a minute behind the actual match. So, you can't spectate and go, oh, the guy's there, quick, shoot him to your friend because you can't see what's happening live. But yeah, that, stops cheating to begin with. And then also if you're doing it with live matches that are important, which also use the same thing, then people can't sort of just fuck with people like they're doing
Yeah.
with CODs. That's fun.
Yeah.
I guess now I want to talk about Fall Guys.
Oh no.
Phenomenal game.
Yeah.
Phenomenal
Yep.
and horrible at the same
Yep.
time. Pisses me off.
Yep.
What are your pros to the game and what are your cons? What do you think?
I can't really specify pros to it, I guess off the top of my head, but cons would just be like uh certain game modes, like the fucking tail grab ones fucking
Yeah.
suck with like delay and shit. And like it just doesn't work
Yeah.
as well.
Any of the ones
Mhm.
where people have to interact with each other
Yeah.
don't work well as soon as somebody has bad connection, and ones where multiple people have to interact with the same object, like hoarders and four ball. Like, because obviously in egg scramble you're grabbing people anyway,
Yeah.
but in the moments with the balls you have to hit around, one person can be desynced and the balls will teleport around the map. Like,
Mhm.
it's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think everything's fine. They need more variants of existing game modes, like I've said to you a few times, and they need just more game types as well, and they need just better netcode, because almost the entire game is physics based. Almost everything about it is about a player falling or being hit by something or grabbing somebody else or hitting, like bumping into another player, and it if you have a bad connection for 60 people or even down to like 20 or 15, it doesn't work. The game falls apart.
Yeah.
And it's easily seen when, if you're on a server that isn't local to you, the game barely works. Like,
Mhm.
it's bad.
Yeah.
Any tail grab mode is near impossible. You're actually so lucky if you manage to grab a tail. It's yeah. They need to work on that. But hopefully season 2 brings a bunch of good stuff that reveals pretty soon. So exciting. I'm the best player here, so that's
Yes.
just wanted to keep that
That's
noted.
true.
Um, Mark, how many
All
wins do you
right.
have again?
I hate you. I hate you. Hate you. Hate you. Hate you. Hate
You
you.
would
Hate
have
you.
one. You
Hate
would
you.
have one, but
I would have like
you...
5 at least, but I get absolutely destroyed every time by a random object that flies out of the sky that I can't control that lands right on my head.
Well, at least they stopped back-to-back team modes in the patch a couple days ago, so you can't go
Oh
from
my god, me and Mark played today,
team tail
and
tag
we
to
had like
four ball.
4 straight games where we got a team game and we fucking lost every single one of them.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And
Yep.
I'm sitting there like, dude, come on.
And it's
yeah.
dude.
On PC, I play solo
Uh,
to try and just get to the final level and get crowns, because besides Full Mountain, I'm I'm pretty good at the finales. Like, I'm decent at Hexagon. I could be better. Tail tag is kind of, or Royal Fumble is kind of luck, but if you manage to get it right, then easy win. And then the spinning one, I can't remember what the finale one's called, is like easy. It really
I've
is.
never even seen that
Um,
one. Like, I've seen
yeah,
it, but not in games where we have been
yeah,
in.
yeah.
Never seen it. I would like to
But
play that one.
that one's good. I have, I think, 2 or 3 wins just on that one alone. But yeah, when you're
Flex.
playing single player, you're like, oh, I'm really good at the solo modes. Like, you go in slime climb, you just go all the way up. You're like, I don't even care. And then you get a team game, and you're like, I've instantly lost. There's nothing I
Yeah.
can do. So
Well, I mean,
yeah,
for me, I go on slime climb and I just get fucking tossed around by every other person in the game and just lose. So.
yep, yep. It's so much of the game on the racing maps is spawning at the front.
Mhm.
Like, on Seesaw, you're fucked if you're at the back. On Slime Climb, you can't do the skip at the start, and you're just being pushed around by people everywhere if
Yeah,
you're at the
slime
back.
climb. It's not even like, oh, I'm ahead of them, so I'm going to finish sooner. It's, oh, I'm ahead of them, so I'm not gonna get fucking thrown off of everything because everyone's
Yeah,
piling up on top of
yeah, I'm
everyone.
not gonna get
exactly.
stuck in that big
It's
group
but it's
of
the same
people.
with the one with the fake doors, which we experienced.
Oh,
When
DoorDash.
when yeah. No, is DoorDash the one with the doors that go up and down, or is that
No.
the...
That's
No, okay, all
gate.
right.
Gate
What's it
crash?
called?
Is that
Yeah,
what it's
yeah.
called?
I
I think
don't
so.
Okay,
know.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, with
I
DoorDash,
think so.
not Uber Eats, and not
Not
Grubhub.
Grubhub.
They
And not
yeah.
Damn.
Grubhub.
Oh, they yeah, like, if everybody's too close together, it is the doors just turn into a funnel, and there's
Mhm.
a billion people going through a door, and you can't get
Dude, to
past.
me, the worst thing about it is the pieces of the doors.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's if you
Because
land on
then
them,
they
you
just
instantly fall
like
over.
block people off or like hit you and you go flying
Yeah,
all
it's
over the
bad.
place. Like,
It's cool
Yeah.
that they don't despawn,
mhm.
but also it'd be kind of nice if they did, because
It'd be
or
kind
like
of
you
nice
just
if they
they didn't have
didn't
a collision.
move around so easily.
Yeah, they just slide around.
So
Yeah.
like people can just push them and fucking block something off.
I hate when you have like a 60-person lobby and the first game you get is DoorDash and the final like 3 doors, the one door that like people break through it's a mess. It's
Yeah,
so
but the
bad.
thing is, on every single one except the final, like 3 doors, like that before you jump off the edge,
Yeah.
there's at least 2 doors that open. At
Mhm.
least 2. Even on the one that has 4 doors, 2 doors open.
But no one wants to
And
take the chance to find out what the second
exactly, so
door is.
only one of them gets open. Everybody goes
Yeah,
through
they
the
just
one
flood
door.
through. It's like, all right,
Yeah, it's a fun game though. I think the
Yeah.
stuff's too expensive.
definitely.
Like I think earning currency is fine. Like if you play the game for a few hours and you do decent, you can buy a bunch of stuff in the store that day.
Yeah.
But getting crowns, if you're good and you don't get screwed over by earlier modes, isn't very hard. But it costs 10 for a full outfit that costs crowns. Like
Mhm.
if you want all the
Yeah.
crossover skins, it's like 70 wins at this point. Like
That is insane.
yeah.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And you're just uselessly getting wins on PlayStation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've got 4 or 5 wins on PlayStation. I have 8 or 9 on PC, so I'm almost there,
You
and I'm
almost
never
have
gonna
the
use any
Peabody
of them.
skin.
Dude, I need the Peabody skin. You don't understand. I'm
Why don't you
I'm
just be
going
like
to
Dr. Lupo
play
and just get it?
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, just because you're like
yeah.
in the top,
They,
1% of
they
the
were like, oh,
players.
we're gonna pick somebody with like really high stats, to just get this skin, and they pick a streamer.
Like what?
Like, what the
Like, why didn't they
heck?
pick me? I have high stats. I have one win.
Exactly. You know, like, and it was like a 1v. It was a 1v2 because it was just the 3 of us in the finale.
Yeah, and then
Dude,
you
that
just
was
got fucking
wild.
destroyed at the beginning of it.
Yep.
And I just jumped on
Yep.
top of Mark and made him fall over, so he didn't stand a chance.
Yeah,
Dude,
man.
Mark was fucking fuming.
Yeah, man.
The best part is when you finish a round and you don't know the outcome of like who finished, and then Mark goes, "This game sucks," and you go, "Well, I guess Mark didn't make that round."
Yep.
I did not make. Yeah. It's just so like, cause sometimes I get really like furious at that game sometimes, cause like for example, Fruit Shoot, my
Yeah.
least favorite game mode, and it's all because something flies out of the sky, it bounces 2 feet in front of me. I'm like, I'm done.
Listen.
Bye.
So on Fruit Shoot, you know how there's like the triangle bits that come in on the edges.
Yeah.
You want to walk the closest to the edge you can, and if something rolls down, it'll nick the edge of one of the triangle bits and then fly up and go past you.
Yeah,
So you
that's what I
just sort
did.
of walk around the very edge and stay near the corner, and hopefully nothing hits you. I usually don't get hit doing that.
Yeah, that's what I
Um,
did today
if you go to the
earlier.
middle,
Me
you're
and
an idiot
Logan playing.
because it takes slightly less time, but a log just comes down and you have to
Oh
jump
yeah, that
like
logged.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I just jump and dive
it,
on that one. If you just jump and dive repeatedly, you get there faster.
oh, I know what you mean. Yeah, the thing I don't like is
No,
whenever
I'm
you go up a
kidding.
slope in that game, is if you jump, you go up, not forwards. Like you go up or backwards.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So you're still like gaining like distance, you're getting closer by jumping and diving, but I don't know, the way the physics works and a lot of the stuff annoys me. Like if you're touching like on Fall Mountain, those steps you have to jump up like
Yeah.
towards the end. If you're
Yeah.
touching the edge of the step when you jump, you fall over.
Mhm.
Like
And plus,
why?
the jump is so awkward. Like it's so weird to like time that jump too.
And yeah, but when you jump, also you lose all your speed when you land because you're landing on a
Yeah.
slope, and then you feel like you're so slow when you're doing it. It's ugh. I don't want them to change the physics because it's like ingrained in the way people play the game now.
Yeah.
They can't
Yeah.
just overhaul it, but um, I think that you should go a little bit faster up slopes, and also I just think they need to fix a bunch of the physics stuff because I've been in games with just Nico and Liam. We're all on the like the AU server, connection's fine, not having any issues, and then we get 4-ball, and you're looking and the balls just go, they're just here and they just go, and just teleport like to do a different point, and you just like,
Huh?
I don't get it. I don't get it. Hoarders is the worst team mode because
Yeah.
you always get it like as the second round in a game. So there's
Mhm.
30 something people or 40 something people, which means that if you're playing in a group of 4 with your friends, you're still not even a majority on the team. So you have a bunch of dickheads running around trying to get not like set
All
all 7
7.
balls.
All
Yeah.
7. Yeah.
When all you need is 3. Oh my god.
Yeah. That's the most annoying part of that game mode.
If you have 3 balls, you can't lose. You can only come first or second. Like or
Mhm.
you can tie first or you can come second. Like
Yeah.
it's not that hard, but oh,
People don't
it
understand that
hurts.
because whatever.
It's simple. It's simple math. It's simple math. Anyway,
Not for them.
Fall Guys. What a game.
Yeah, really is.
Solid.
It's definitely the next game to take over at the moment,
Mhm.
Yeah.
because it was like I don't even remember what it was before Warzone, but Warzone was it, and then
When did Warzone come out?
March.
Yeah.
Before that, for a little bit, would have been Tarkov, Escape from Tarkov.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
But before that was just straight like just the normal stuff like League of Legends and Fortnite.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But
GTA 5 has been really big for the past year because of all the modded stuff on
yeah,
servers. But yeah, but right now Fall Guys is number 3 on Twitch.
there you go.
It's behind Just Chatting and League of Legends. Because League of Legends has something with 50,000 viewers right now. So
Damn.
and then Just Chatting. Is there anybody big here? Doesn't really look like it. There's just a billion of them. So
No, what'd you
sorry, one of
say?
the streams is called BDSM Sex and Life Advice. Okay. Anyway,
Hey.
All right.
What was the name of the channel?
um, I can't
That
tell
was a
you.
joke. That was a alright, man.
No, Mark, it's okay.
It was a joke, man.
I don't know if that was a
just
joke,
kidding.
man.
Just kidding.
Please help.
uh,
Look, did you get that? The reference?
yes, I did get it.
Okay, good. I just wanted to
Please
make sure.
help.
Uh,
But yeah, Fall Guys is like the next big game at the moment. So I don't know.
If they keep it going well, like Apex Legends could have been a big thing, but it took
Mhm.
them a month to bring out the first season. So it killed the game, and the first season sucked. Like it didn't. All it added was a character. It was the same map. There was no new guns, like no new anything.
Mhm.
There was like maybe one decent skin for a character, and the level 100 and 110, like the final 2 skins in the pass, were nice. But everything else was just like, it's not even worth it.
Yeah.
mhm.
So yeah.
Um, I don't even know what else. What else we want to talk about? What's been going on with you guys? Fucking nothing.
The
Apparently.
biggest of chilling.
I could talk about my my naturopath experience.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh jeez.
everybody I've talked to goes, "What's a naturopath?" And it's like, am I the only person who's ever heard of this word? I don't really. But y- I I told you this, right, Mark? You were here for this?
Oh yeah, I was definitely here for
Yeah.
this.
Okay. So I I've been like ill lately of all this like tiredness and stuff, and um also I've had a not to uh it's not like a pity party or anything, but have a chronic illness for many years, and my mum was like, "Let's go to a naturopath," which is a form of alternative medicine. That doesn't mean crazy. Well, I didn't think it meant crazy. But it can be like, oh, this thing is, if you can have ginger in something and it naturally like helps a sore throat or whatever, like stuff like that, but to a higher level of like, oh, this plant it's is good at getting rid of this. And it's true. It's not like made up or anything. Went to this naturopath. I walk in and she brings out this little device that's like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain the size of it. It like probably like it's this big, like tiny little thing.
Mhm.
And she goes, "Oh, you like have this and hold it like in this hand, and then and put your thumb on the screen of my phone, and it like scans, it like looks at your quantum field and like figures out the frequencies, bro." I
That
couldn't
just
believe it. I couldn't believe it, and I I know how a phone screen works. Like, I know you have a digitizer and it has a like newer ones have capacitive sensors of how hard you press down for like 3D touch on an iPhone,
Mhm.
and none of that can figure out like what is coming from your thumb, right? Like a part of your body.
Yeah.
If you have Touch ID, it's a fingerprint scanner integrated into a little panel. And if they actually put it into the screen like they should, it'd be the same thing but behind the display. And all it does is read a pattern that's on your thumb. It can't pull some like goddamn EKG like out of your thumb,
Yeah.
and it can't figure out your mental health based on the frequencies of your thumb touching this screen. Dude, my mind was
the
blown, and
frequencies.
there was we're there for like over an hour, and I'm like sort of playing along with it because I'm very timid with stuff like this. She gets me to hold it in my hand and puts these little like almost alligator clips that plug in and go on both of my earlobes. And it's like, oh, it like does this thing, and I'm like, so I'm just doing it. I'm like, whatever. Like I really want to get out of here. And then she puts ones on my wrist instead, like just Velcro bands that go around and then have a bit that connects to this thing. It literally they're just Velcro bands with a little, when you have like a jacket and it has the press buttons that like click together
Mhm.
instead of having like
Yeah.
the ones that put through material. It was like that to go to clip the thing onto the bracelet. Bro, this is such a scam. Like, and like I don't think this woman knows that. I think she full believes it.
Yeah.
And she pulls out some like metal case thing, and she opens it and it's called a oh my god. What was it called? It's a quantum resonance magnetic analyzer. Bro, people make jokes
That
about
just
being like,
sounds
"Oh, I can't
ridiculous.
explain this strange thing in my movie script. I'm gonna stick the word quantum in front of it." Like, what? What?
That just
And
sounds ridiculous. Like what?
it's crazy. It's crazy. And it's like, oh, you hold this thing for like 2 minutes in your hand, this little like baton looking thing that's like made of metal. Yeah, okay. And then it figures out like every mineral in your body and your deficiencies in them, and if you're allergic to something, and whether parts of your body are working properly, and all this shit. And I work in the RF industry with towers and antennas and all this stuff. And one of the things was saying that I was more susceptible than others to EMF, electromagnetic frequencies. And I sort of like, yeah, I'll bite. And I said, "Oh, that's kind of bad because of like working in this industry." And she was like, "Oh, yeah, being near that stuff puts a lot of positive ions into your body. Because you have cat ions and anions. This is an actual
Mhm.
science thing, but she's not saying that. She says positive ions, so you have to go outside barefoot and be grounded, and it gives you negative ions, and they get rid of the positive ions. That's not how molecular charge works. Like
Oh,
like that at all.
That is
Um,
ridiculous.
what
and
kind of technology are they dealing with?
bro, and on top of that, RF radio signal is like microwave, right? It's non-ionizing. It
Mhm.
makes water molecules vibrate, and because they move, they cause friction. They move faster. They heat up. That's how microwaves work. And if you're near RF for too long, you can get burns. It's not like, and when you get the way cancer works is it's when a cell regenerates, it can mutate into cancer. So just from getting burns, your cells can regenerate into cancer, but it's not carcinogenic. It can just happen, just like with a normal sunburn from the sun.
Yeah.
Um, and it's non-ionizing. Same with Wi-Fi and cellular. I think 4G or LTE, as it's called in other places, is like 500 megahertz or something, which is tiny. Like normal Wi-Fi is 2.4 gigahertz, so way bigger. And a microwave runs at around 2.45 gigahertz. And she was like, "Oh yeah, 4G is like bad." Oh,
Oh
dude,
my gosh.
it's crazy. It was crazy. I can't believe it. I When you go to a doctor, I've been to a billion doctors. When you go to a doctor, everything they say, they can have a hypothesis which might be wrong in your case, but every bit of evidence they're using to say, "Oh, this might be it," is fact. And you're like, "Oh yeah, we'll pursue it. We'll have a look." I've never been to an interview where you're sitting there having to question what's real and what's fake because somebody's weaving out of actual scientific terms
Mhm.
into pseudoscience. It's terrifying. It And I understand how people who don't know better, people who don't know how like EMF and works and technology works and stuff like I do, even at a basic level. Oh, and also I know how to use the internet to look up if something's fake.
Yeah.
Um, people who don't do that would just get sucked in by that stuff because it's like, hey, you can do this thing, and it instantly tells you everything wrong with your body, and they're like, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't every doctor on the planet be using that device?
Mhm.
Exactly.
Why would you never hear of it before, and then suddenly you see it at some like specialist clinic thing that is in like this one building in like a local place, 20 minutes away from where I live, like,
Mhm.
but not in some like major Sydney hospital. Insane. That's my experience. Had to break it to my mum that 90% of it is complete bullshit. And she wasn't too happy about it. Because she wants to sort of believe that stuff for some reason. I mean, it'd
Mhm.
be nice if it was real, but it's not.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, this is why people believe that vaccines are going to give you autism. So like, and I I've never heard I've never heard so much science jargon being used and stuff that just isn't true.
Mhm.
Crazy. It's a trap. It really is. It's
Yeah.
But anyway, that's my experience. So I've experienced that firsthand now, and I feel sorry for people who are actually sucked into that, um, and spend money on all this stuff not that's not based on any scientific evidence, and they're like, maybe it'll help me, and they're just giving a company that's scamming them money, and it's basically a pyramid scheme. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So
Okay.
that's my story.
um, I guess what we'll go into next. I am going to announce on this podcast and make it clear here. This week on Thursday,
No, here it is.
the very first episode of Throwback Thursday will be released. It is me and Mark currently.
Hey.
I'm free to I'm down to get other people, but it's just me and Mark on it. currently and in the first episode. It is us playing throwback video games, specifically like PlayStation 2, but we'll hopefully be able to go into other things. But for now, it is PlayStation 2, but that is coming out on Thursday. So, what I wanted to do after saying that is talk about some of our favorite games from like anything before, let's say, like 2010. Because and that, Mark, this needs to go without us spoiling anything that will be on Throwback Thursday.
Okay, I got you.
Mark's frozen for me as well.
That
He
took
just-
like
Yeah, he's frozen for me too.
I love it, dude. I love it.
There we go.
Okay,
Sweet.
what were you gonna say, Mark?
But I was like, well, there goes two of my favorites out of the window.
Well, no, you can. Okay, never mind. Then.
Just don't talk about recent
I'm not even gonna
experience with
say
the
him. I'm
game.
not
You
even
can
gonna
just
say
say
Yeah.
you enjoy a game. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I'm not even gonna say him. Well, I gotta think about it.
Because Star Wars Battlefront 2 to me is like one of the best video games to come out in the 2000s. Like that is just, and for them to, it's just because of how different video games are now with like microtransactions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot understand how they could make a game that much worse
Yeah.
from it being the same sort of concept. Like
It's
how
crazy.
on earth?
It is. But also, when you think about it now, so much more goes into development because while while the technology to make the game has gotten better, the expectations of what a game should look like and
I've just gone through
how
the
it should
roof.
run and all that stuff are way bigger. So like
Mm,
back in the day, people are making simple looking textures and downscaling them and they look decent, but they never need anything higher. Now you've got like 12K textures being downscaled to 4K and then put into a game, and the game needs to look amazing and
yeah.
all this stuff. So development costs require more people for artists because they're putting more detail into their art. And then because of that, they just, I don't know, release an unfinished game and then supplement the rest with DLC and microtransactions.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
I just like
it's bad.
because to me, there's so much more money going into the games as well that like
Yeah.
you would think they would be able to make something close to
Yeah.
close to how good that one was.
But I mean, like the new Battlefront games in terms of how they look is phenomenal. It really is. But it's really not hard to find something that feels good. There's been a billion lightsaber fighting games that have been made by Lucas Games, before like 2006, going back into the late 90s.
Mm-hmm.
There's like what, four? There's like you got Dark Forces, which is like Doom, but then all the other ones are lightsaber games. And then you've got the lightsaber fighting in both the Battlefront games. It's not hard to bring that forward, and games now are so freeing with the mechanics you can put in them. How hard is it to make a good force mechanic? Like,
Yeah.
if you know what you're doing, it really couldn't be that difficult. If you can make a game, if Oblivion, for God's sake, can have
Yeah.
telekinesis where you grab something across the room and pull it to your character, and then you can chuck something by pressing a button. How hard is it to do that in multiplayer in a game that comes out in 2015 or 2017? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's really not hard. But Battlefield has always had not great netcode, and I think that carries across to Battlefront, because when Battlefront 2 came out in 2017, the Force did not work at all.
Yeah.
You could push somebody and they would like go like this on the spot and then like get launched into space.
That whole
So,
game just didn't work when it came out.
yeah, and they tried to supplement it with microtransactions because they weren't having a season pass. It wasn't the normal EA model. Just develop a game for an extra year.
Yeah.
They have the
Seriously.
money. Like,
Well, there's
you
no
look at
doubt that they have the money. I mean,
yeah, but you look at Activision Blizzard, right? They they were culling the amount of people on development teams. They were canceling projects. They ended the esports for Heroes of the Storm, and then right after, also the whole Diablo Immortal controversy, where it's a mobile game that's just made by NetEase, which is a Chinese company. It's just a reskin of a game they've already made. After all these controversies, it came out that the new, I think, CT it was the new CTO or the new CFO of Activision Blizzard got a $13 million signing bonus thing for joining the company.
That's oh my god, dude. I wish I could get a
Like,
13 million signing
di-
bonus. Like, dude, that's insane.
like that's not even his salary. He
Yeah.
gets that money
That's
for
guaranteed,
signing
yeah.
this sheet of paper. Like, that's insane. And all these people are underpaid in bad conditions, working just crunching, working overtime, and trying to make the best product they can, and just can't because of all this corporate suit garbage. And then some guy just waltzes into an executive position and gets $13 million instantly. Like,
And a lot of the
it's
people
insane.
making decisions for these games don't know anything about how people feel about
Yeah.
games or anything like that. They're just making the decisions.
It's just a product, and they want to appeal to shareholders.
Mm-hmm.
For them,
Mhm.
it's just owning a business and making money through, like, the stock market. That's what it is. And that's why indie games always have so much more to them. And then you have games like No Man's Sky, which starts as an indie game, without any expectations. It was just a small game. Sony grabs them, puts them on the highest pedestal in existence, gives them a solid release date, gets delayed, again because of legal troubles with Sky UK, because they had the word Sky in the name of the game. And Sky UK is like a TV network, by the way. It's not
Yeah.
even like gaming or anything. And No Man's Sky, their like entire product got like destroyed in a flood the year before the game was supposed to come out. Their entire office was flooded. Like, all their computers were just, it was up to like chest level, and everything was just floating around on this water.
Oh my god.
And Sony was like, "You're releasing the game," and then they had to do it. It wasn't finished because they lost all the stuff they'd done going back ages, and then everybody literally wanted to kill them. Like, they got death threat after
Yeah.
death threat, and then now they've brought it back. The game is still a bit jank in areas, but they need to be commended, because besides buying the game, which goes on sale for on PlayStation for single digits in terms of dollars,
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
you can't spend a cent more on the game. It does not let you. You can't buy anything for the game. There's no DLC. There's no microtransactions. There is a like premium currency you get by doing community events, and that it's kind of like getting crowns in Fall Guys.
Yeah.
Where it's a currency you can't buy. And yeah, I think that sort of fucked them up, being put on a pedestal that high and having all these expectations and then not meeting them, and they came back and did it, where all these other developers, they want to do that, but they're already in this corporate life cycle. They want to make a game. Fallout 76 is a good example. It gets given a solid release date. They can't do anything about it. Game has to release, and once again, 76, they can keep like upgrading and stuff, because it's a live game. But if you make a single player game, or you make an annual release game, then it's like you don't get to fix it. You just have to start working on the next one, and that game's fucked. And it's like, oh, people bought the game, so we don't care for the people in the suits, and it sucks. The state of the industry is awful, and it needs like some sort of reform.
I
And
was
I
gonna say
think there has to be,
basically what we
yeah,
can
you
really
get,
say is the expectations are way too much, and there
yeah,
seems to be way too much pressure on games being released especially now because video games are more popular than they've ever been.
There's so many games,
So
and all these games now, like Red Dead Redemption 2 is 65-hour story, just the story alone. It's like, motherfucker, I'm not gonna play another game for another 2 or 3 months. And
mhm,
RDR came out in October 2018, and the other stuff that comes out in October in just 2017, you had Assassin's Creed Origins, Super Mario Odyssey, um, Wolfenstein 2, I believe. Like, just just in that is all these games. Some of them are short, like Wolfenstein. It's like a 9-10 hour single player game, and then games like Assassin's Creed Odyssey has, well, that was Origins, but Odyssey, which came out, actually no, sorry, yeah, 2018. Well, 2016 was Origins. 2018
Yeah.
was Odyssey. Odyssey has 3 campaigns that are all different parts of the story. One's like a personal character thing with family. One's like to do with stuff that leads into the Assassin's Order, which then starts in Origins, because Odyssey is before Origins, even though Origins is called Origins because it's the start of the Assassins.
mhm.
But um, I don't get it. They just wanted to make
We're
an
not
ancient
gonna
Greece
talk
game,
about it.
obviously. Um, but yeah, it's like there's all these huge games now. They all try and be JRPGs. All these Japanese games have like an 80-hour campaign, like, and they're like 200 hours of content easily. And then all these Western games now are just packing it with shit, and there's so much filler as well in these
Mhm.
campaigns. You can't have a 65-hour story. Like,
Yeah, it's
it
impossible.
can't all be storytelling
Yeah.
of things that are happening that are interesting. It doesn't. You see a movie like 3.5 hours max, and that's a long movie. And you see like a series, and a series without any filler would normally be, today in the age of Netflix, 8 to 10 to 12 episodes a season,
Mhm.
and like 45-minute hour to an hour episodes. That's 12 hours at the most of story that's happening. If you play a game and it's 65, 8 to 80 hours, so much of that is you just wandering around doing fucking nothing and
Yeah.
doing the same thing over and over again. It's so annoying. And everything's an open world now. Uh, I think every Ubisoft game, like every big one made by one of their big studios since like 2016, has been open world. Uh, and some of them it suits the game, and some of them it doesn't. Um, and then yeah, it's just like, dude, give me some really good games that I can play a lot of and still enjoy them, or a game that I can play once and I go, that was good, I'm happy, and I'm done. I can move on.
Mhm.
But it's all about these huge games, and if you make a big game that people enjoy playing, you can do what Assassin's Creed and Ghost Recon Wildlands and Ghost Recon Breakpoint do, which are all Ubisoft, by the way. And you can go, look, you can buy an XP booster or this special item that does this special thing for this open world single player game.
Mhm.
And the Wildlands and Breakpoint are co-op, but you can play them single player. Um, and it's like the fact that microtransactions to get items are like on a rotation, not even like a DLC. The stuff in a store in a single player game is the fact that's a thing is very telling of like the state of game development and the monetization of games now in the industry. And it sucks. It really does. It's a really cool indie game I like called Astroneer. I was playing it. Yesterday, and I understand what they're doing because the game's in full release. You can't buy any DLC besides the soundtrack. Um, and they keep updating it, but they added a microtransaction store, and that's fine. You're allowed to have that because, it's your prerogative if you're going to use it. But if it has limited time items to create a sense of fear of missing out
Mhm.
in a single player or co-op indie fun looking survival game, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
you can't have that. Oh, anyway, like you said, favorite games. Let's do that. That was
Wow, we
20
just
minutes
spent
ago, but
15 minutes on on that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you're talking about Battlefront. Do you have any others that are really
I
big to you?
mean, like Downhill Domination is one that I played a lot. Uh, I mean, I just have so many PlayStation games, and that's
Yeah.
why that's a big reason we're doing the series in the first place. But um, I don't know. Those were probably like the two that I played the most as a kid. There were a couple hunting games that I played too because I didn't want to hunt in real life, so I just did it in the
Yeah,
video
because you
game.
don't have the remorse of killing an animal in real life. Yeah.
Well, no, I probably could do that. I just don't want to fucking sit in a tree for 7 hours.
Oh,
Alright.
So
it's not about the morality. It's about the patience. All right.
yeah, even though I feel
Great.
like I have
That's great.
patience,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
just
great.
like I don't I don't have like the want or need to fucking kill a deer to have to wait in a tree for 7 hours to be able to do so. Like if I walked out to a tree in about 5 minutes, a deer came out. Hey, I'll hunt all the time, but
That's like going
Jesus.
fishing, isn't it? If I just pulled a fish out of the water in 2 minutes, I'd just fish, you know.
yeah, I fish all the time.
Um, but just never get any because I'm terrible. Um, but yeah, I didn't have that many PS2 games. But the ones I did play, I played through like multiple times or just like a bunch. Um, my first PS2 game was Lego Star Wars. Well, technically it was SingStar Rock
Oh, I
Ballads
forgot to
because it
even
came with the
mention the Lego
PS2.
Star Wars
Lego
one.
Star Wars is yeah.
But yeah, when I got my PS2 with SingStar Rock Ballads because it was like a package of the two of them, came with the microphones and everything. Um, we didn't have a memory card for a week. And my sister and my dad went to JB Hi-Fi, which is like a tech store in Australia, which I think might have been when we bought the PS2, but they came back with Madagascar, Lego Star Wars, and we still didn't have a memory card. So we kept going, and I played through negotiations about 100 times,
Hmm.
and I got up to the General Grievous level in Revenge of the Sith like 7 or 8 times, and it wouldn't save. So I never really like tried to do everything because it didn't really
Yeah.
matter. But then we got a memory card, and it was like, oh, finally we can actually, turn off the PS2 and not lose everything we've done. Um, and we could change games and not lose everything. So that was nice. 8 megabytes.
Yep.
8 megabytes. That shit. We have two of them.
Mine
That shit
was
still isn't full.
mine was 16.
Whoa!
We were big balling on the
Correct.
memory card.
Megabytes. Like today, game saves are still really small, but in the age of like the current gen and now next gen, every game is saved to the console because
Yeah.
a spinning disc is too slow. Um, and that's crazy. But it's just annoying having to put in the game and just go, all right, it's installing, and just walk away for 2 hours. Um, but yeah, back then you could just put a disc in and play, which is nice, but we've lost that, especially with everything being digital now as well. You really
That's
just
what that's
download every game. Yeah,
that's what I was gonna bring up about the digital stuff.
yeah. But
People aren't going out and going to GameStop and
yeah, exactly. But
buying
also
a new game. People aren't really
GameStop
doing that
sucks.
anymore.
Like it really
Well,
does.
yeah, GameStop isn't very good. I didn't say it was good, but
It's sort of like part of the culture was going to look at games on a shelf, kind of like going
exactly.
to borrow movies from a video store.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, even that trend
um,
is kind of falling off
yeah,
too.
yeah, that's dead. That's completely dead. And it
Yeah.
kind of sucks because I've like a lot of fond memories of renting movies and renting like I didn't own Lego Star Wars 2. I rented it
Hmm.
whenever I could get it from the local video store, and then eventually I got the game and I was like, whoa! And because
This,
in the first one you're in Dexter's diner, and then
yeah.
in the second one um you're in the cantina, and um
You can customize
dude
characters.
I had like 90 hours on that game, just playing through. Those bonus levels were so hard, dude.
Hmm.
Where you had like the mini ships going around like on the ground. There was one on Endor that took me forever to beat. And like the bonus levels had the purple studs before they were a normal thing. in the Lego games,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and then Lego Indiana Jones came out, and you could just get them normally, and it was like, whoa.
Bro, I remember playing fucking Lego Batman on my PSP.
Yeah.
Bro.
Bro, I had everything in that goddamn game. Just because playing on my PSP, I could play it anywhere we went. And I
Lego
was just
Batman's
always
kind
on
of
that shit.
that was actually really cool, like all the different interactable things, because like the most they had before that was like Jar Jar can jump higher, and short characters. Wait, we're in I think in the first Lego game it was like R2D2 and Yoda and stuff can go through the like the trapdoors.
Not R2D2.
Oh, not R2D2? No.
Young
Okay.
Anakin could.
Okay, so it's just short characters. Okay,
Yeah.
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 But then in Lego Batman, they had like the things that Clayface can like pull on, the strength things, and they had like the things that you spin, and they had like all the different Batman suits that you switch through for different
Yeah.
like parts. If it's like it has like all the acid or whatever, you pick the right suit. That stuff's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, my phone rang. But yeah, the thing I probably played the most other than Lego games would have been Ratchet and Clank 3. And then Ratchet Gladiator. Ratchet and Clank 3 was much harder because it was single player. And also sometimes it was just better to just play with my sister on Ratchet Gladiator because it's 2-player co-op throughout the whole campaign. But we must have finished Gladiator like 7 times in co-op, like straight up. But that game wasn't short. It's not like super long, but if like nowadays you could get through it in one sitting because you'd also be skilled enough at the game and you'd know what you're doing. And when you're a kid, you play for like 2 hours at a time max.
Mm-hmm.
Now you
Yeah.
just sit in the chair for 38 hours, crying yourself to sleep afterwards,
Sipping on G
wondering
Fuel.
why you why you're playing a game for this long. So, yeah, sipping on G Fuel.
Sipping on
And
lead.
and maybe Jesus. But yeah, I play that game a lot. Ratchet and Clank 3 is amazing. It is honestly a better version of the first game because the second game is in a different galaxy, and the third game is back in the first galaxy as Ratchet and Clank 1, and you like revisit a bunch of locations. It's kind of weirdly like Dark Souls, because in Dark Souls 1, you're in a certain place, and then Dark Souls 2, you're somewhere else, and then Dark Souls 3, you're back in the first game's place, but like a few thousand years later or something.
Mm.
So it's kind of weird that it mirrors that. But Ratchet and Clank are phenomenal, and I'm excited for the new one. I think the 2016 game definitely had some caveats, but I hope the new one is really good. I'm very
Mm-hmm.
excited for that. So,
Um,
yeah.
Mark, if you want to maybe talk about yours, just shit that you played.
Well, before 2010, I'm gonna be honest with you, I really didn't play. I wasn't really that into video games too much.
He was an
Um,
athlete.
yeah, well, yeah, I was an athlete, and the first game that I really like got a hold of, and I was like, I love every single wrestling game. I'm gonna be honest with you, I love
Yeah.
wrestling. I enjoy it so much. Um, then probably 2010 when Skate 3 came out, I played that game hours on end, bro. I think what came out like 2010, yeah.
Oh, I was gonna
And
say. Hold on, real quick.
okay,
Tony Hawk's Underground 2 was another one that I played all the time.
Tony, yeah, okay, yeah,
Underground 2
I agree with
specifically.
that.
I never had the first Underground. I never
Yeah,
had American Wasteland. I hated the Pro Skaters because you couldn't get off the
Yeah.
board.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
annoying.
yeah.
So, Underground 2 was my shit.
The thing
Yeah, I
with
agree with
Skate
that.
3 is just being able to walk around and
Well,
um
the walking around, the free roam, I thought was absolutely phenomenal. They did a great job
yeah,
with the whole
yeah.
open world thing. Um, the different race, like you can do races, you can do, and then you could do like online stuff where you can do. I'm pretty sure you could play skate. You can play. You could do different tricks and see who get like the most amount of
Yeah.
points. They had the Hall of Meat thing.
Yep, Hall of Meat
Where
was what I was gonna say.
that
Yep.
was that game is just so. It was
You
so
just
like perfect,
you go on top of like this ridiculous spot and you just do this awful bailout and just break every bone in your body and you're
dude.
like, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was like. And then probably I'm gonna say because I enjoyed like all 4 of these games.
Hmm.
I'm gonna, but specifically one game that I want to talk about the most, the whole Batman Arkham series, specifically Arkham City that came out in 2012. My favorite game, hands down. That is, in my opinion, the greatest game ever made. I enjoy that so much, dude.
Whoa! Whoa!
In my opinion, just because I'm a big Batman fan. That game when it came out, our Asylum was revolutionary. This game took it to a whole new level for superhero games.
Yep. Yeah, definitely did.
The best Batman game made, in my opinion, probably the best game ever made. So
I'm gonna just say a certain 16-bit block game might take the cake
You can't
there.
call it 16-bit.
well, if we're talking
Isn't that what it is?
legitimately,
No, no, no.
if we're talking legitimately, yes, Minecraft is the best game ever made, and I'm not
There you
denying
go.
that. But in my favorite game personally
Yeah.
is
There you
Batman
go.
Arkham City.
Yeah, but see, like that's the Batman. The Batman Arkham games are an example of a game that's like a handcrafted area for you to explore, and everything besides the way you choose to play the combat and solve puzzles, everything else is designed meticulously by people to be that way.
Hmm.
Minecraft, they get a bunch of code, put it into a game, everything happens on its own, and they go wild. So Minecraft
Yeah,
is sort of like a platform for
for people to
an
expand off
adventure.
of. Yeah.
Yeah, where the Batman Arkham games and a billion other games are like that are made as a single player experience that's designed to be played not in a linear fashion because it's sort of open world, it's semi open world, but
Yeah.
it's designed to be played a certain way. Like obviously you can't like go creative mode and fly around and drop anvils on
Yeah,
the
that
on the thugs in Arkham City. But yeah, I think games like that are just yeah, it's so well
especially
done.
for its time too. Like
Yeah.
think about it,
Uh,
2009 when they dropped Asylum in 2012 with Arkham City. Those games, like those, they completely changed the way that superhero games should be.
yeah. Arkham Asylum just completely broke the mold. The best thing before that was Spider-Man games.
Yeah.
Um,
And
and
looking back on those, bro,
pre-
they weren't
a
really
bunch of
that
them are
good.
decent, but like they haven't when they came out, it's like this is really good, but it hasn't aged.
Yeah.
You go back and play Arkham City now, and it's still decent. I
Yeah, yeah,
just wish that
definitely.
the remasters that
Oh, the
they did
remasters were bad.
were actually good. I wish they brought it forward to Arkham Knight level polish on the combat and everything.
Mhm.
And then it would just make the game so much nicer to play. It's like Dark Souls Remastered is just Dark Souls but newer. Like most of
Yeah.
it's the same, and I really wish that when they remade Dark Souls, they made it feel it's kind of different to Dark Souls 3 combat wise a little bit, but Dark Souls 3 feels so good. Every hit that looks like it's supposed to hit does, and every hit that looks like it should miss does.
Yeah.
And that's so important in a game where everything is combat. And yeah, so the Arkham remasters garbage. Like they don't even look
And
better. I don't know
Arkham
what they were thinking.
Arkham City's frame rate's so bad too. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of busted, but it was nice to go back and play that.
But
So
also, you don't remember that when you first play a game. Like as a kid, you look back and you're like, in your mind, everything is like 120 frames per second.
Yeah.
And you're
exactly.
like, this game played perfectly, and you go back and you're like,
Hmm. Wasn't
Every
this?
time dude, every time I play Star Wars Battlefront 2, the game is so fucking dark. I can't
yeah.
see anything.
It was, dude. Oh, that game was so dark.
But it's like playing Lego games on the PS2. Those look fine. Playing Lego games on the Wii. I have Lego Star Wars 3 and Lego Pirates of the Caribbean on PS3 and Wii. I had them on the Wii, I played them, and you're like, this is fine. And then you look at gameplay of on Xbox or PS3, the character portraits are animated, there's all this extra like particle effects and graphical flair, and there's achievements. There's a thing in Lego Pirates of the Caribbean in like the hub area, you can cause the green flash, which is in at World's End, if you've ever seen it. Let me just look up there. But in At World's End, if you've ever seen it, no, don't worry about that sun sticker. That's from Winnie the Pooh, and we can't take it off my wall. It's been there for about 15 years.
Nice.
It will rip the paint off my wall, so it just stays there.
Rip the wall off your wall.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright,
But yeah, in Lego Pirates of the Caribbean, you can cause the Green Flash. In At World's End, they're trapped in Davy Jones's locker, and when the sun sets, there's this green flash on the horizon, and it like symbolizes a bunch of like sort of ocean magic and curse stuff. And they turn the boat upside down in the water, and when the flash happens, it puts them back in like the normal world and flips them back up. And you make that happen in the game by doing something. It does nothing on the Wii. It's just a visual thing that happens. On the PS3 and Xbox 360, you get an achievement, so you need it for the platinum trophy or for the gamer score. On the Wii, it's like, all right, why did I do that? And I searched it up, and it's like, oh, it gives an achievement, and I was like, oh no.
So pointless.
And I rebought both games when I was in the US. I rebought them at GameStop because they were pre-owned and like cheap as hell. I bought them on PS3, and they look a billion times better. Like, it's insane how much better those games look. The Wii is graphically horrendous, and the controls for any traditional game are awful. Dude, you try
But
playing.
the Wii is fire though.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, you had like the way the controller worked, which was a gimmick that worked well.
Mhm.
Well, except for the Motion Plus shit, where you had to buy a new like attachment for the controller, and then
Yeah, that
eventually
was
they just
kinda dumb.
integrated them into the controllers. So if you
It's so
bought
stupid.
controllers too early, you got fucked over because you didn't have controllers with Motion Plus was built in.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Wii U is what the Wii should have been. And I'm not saying that as in the Wii U was good, because the Wii U was like fucking, it was like, it had nothing on it. It was terrible. But if they'd released the Wii U as it exists in like 2008, like a year after the Wii came out, like, instead of making the Wii wait a year, release that, would have been insane. Like, you would have had actually HD graphics, same controllers, a more powerful console. You could have had the tablet for games, but maybe they wouldn't have done that in hindsight. I think they chose not to, but also it led to the Switch with it having controls and a screen together, and then that is the console. So who knows? But the Wii U has like 3 good games on it that aren't on other consoles. And one of them that was exclusive, which was Zombie U, which was a Ubisoft game, they just took out all the Wii U stuff and put it on Xbox and PS4. Anyway, a few years later, so it really shows like how much of that mattered to the game. It's like, oh, there's a keypad, and you can pick the numbers on the keypad to open the door by pressing it on the screen on the Wii U like tablet. Who the fuck cares? Let me
Yeah.
just swing a controller around and play baseball. Like,
Yeah.
you know, the Wii is crazy, but for normal games, oh, it looks bad. It hurts. And Nintendo do this thing I'll never understand, where a thumbstick is in an octagonal hole. I think
Yeah.
it's been like that since the Nintendo 64. What the fuck? Like, I understand being able to, like, on a computer, if you hold the left arrow key and the down arrow key, or A and S if you're not left-handed, you're going to walk diagonally in a certain direction, and it's going to be exactly diagonal. So if you have this octagon pattern, then you can go exactly up, exactly down, left, right, and diagonal with the 8 corners. But
Yeah, but part of the reason of having an analog stick is to have that full range of
exactly,
motion.
you have 16 degrees of movement instead of 8. So if you spin a stick around on the nunchuck on a Wii, it goes like clunk, 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 clunk as it hits all of the edges. I'll never understand that, because it made like platformers and stuff really bad. And you had to control the camera with the D-pad on the Wiimote.
Mhm.
Like,
Okay, let's
no way.
let's get to wrapping this up. We're gonna go back to what we've been doing the last 2 podcasts, where we ended
Oh, yep, the
off here
hypotheticals. Yep.
with our hypothetical question by my man Chuck Klosterman.
Shout
Shout
out
out
to
to the
Chuck,
GOAT.
man.
Shout out to him.
Chuck's the goat.
This is the first time we have someone other than just me and Mark here to answer it.
Yeah.
Okay. Set these over here. Okay, so this one is called the brain pill. You are offered a brain pill. If you swallow this pill, you will become 10% more intelligent than you currently are. You will be more adept at reading comprehension, logic, and critical thinking. However, to all other people you know, and to all future people you will meet, you will seem 20% less intelligent. In other words, you will immediately become smarter, but the rest of the world will perceive you as dumber. And there's no way you can ever alter the universality of that perception. Do you take this pill?
That seems kind of redundant because, like, the point of you trying to be smart is to show people that you're smart. But if you
Is
take
that
Well,
this,
is
then you're
that
not.
is that what you think? Well, I mean, like, if you're writing like a scientific paper, right, and you're smart because of it, how would that work if people perceive you as being dumb? You know
They're
what I
just like,
mean?
whoa.
Like, yeah,
yeah.
some fucking idiot wrote this, but everything in it's correct. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, maybe
That's
they
But,
kind of
wouldn't
yeah.
think it'd be correct.
well, yeah, maybe they just wouldn't
Yeah,
even
that
read it
probably.
because they just thought it would all be wrong.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, then that would defeat the purpose.
But
That's a
see
weird
that
one because it's kind of like
it,
it's weird.
but it also it's strange because all the other ones are an objective thing. Like,
Yeah.
this person has said this, they could do this. What would you do in that situation? This one, it kind of depends on how smart you are already. If
Mhm.
you're really smart and you look 20% dumber, but you're actually 10% smarter, like, how dumb are you
Yeah.
gonna look? But if you're already dumb and you are like rolling around on the floor and you take this tablet, then you can start, actually forming sentences, but you look like you're, I don't know, completely brain dead.
Yeah.
Um, like, would you really want to? I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like for me anyway, like I'm not gonna do that. I'll
Yeah, I
take a
feel like
pass, bro.
no. Yeah,
I feel like
I'd
for
I
all
pass
of
do
on
us,
it.
that.
I feel like for all three of us, it'll be like it's kind of
Well,
pointless,
No, I
honestly.
do
Logan would
it.
do it because he already has 190 IQ, so like he wouldn't look that
Yeah.
much dumber. So
I always have
yeah.
like bigger brain, so
No, I do it for 10%.
Why?
you're nuts.
Because I feel
Yeah,
like that 10% could like just help me in my life.
but like you constantly, people would talk down to you like you're a child, almost like.
Would me being 20%
No, but I don't mean
dumber than what
talking
I
down to
am
you like
now
you're
really
stupid,
make
but
me
like they
inferior
would
to other people?
explain things way more than you wanted them to, and like it's like it I mean, no hate to him, but with Liam, it's like you explain an entire thing because he doesn't get it. And if I walked around and people did that to me all the time, but I actually did get it, and like all that time was wasted, and I think I would be mad about people perceiving me as just being a brainlet, like even when I knew exactly what they were talking about and just couldn't change it. Like that would feel awful. It
Well, I
really
don't talk to
would.
anyone, so
Yeah, that's
that
true.
works out for me. And then plus I feel like not to like say I'm on some pedestal, but if I was 20% dumber than what I am now, I feel like I wouldn't be too different than a lot of people.
That's true. That's probably
So,
very true.
Yeah, that's true.
But also,
I
like,
go ahead and
yeah,
do
the
it.
other thing about that one is like, if people perceive you to be dumber, like when they talk to you or whatever, if you were very introverted, wouldn't matter
Yeah,
with that one. Like, you'd just be smarter.
That's true.
So
unless you like go to some place and you're ordering food and they just
you
think
go to order and like
you can't
you
even
like
talk.
stutter once while you're ordering, and they're like,
Just immediately call you out on the
We don't
stutter.
serve food to fucking pussies that can't speak.
Oh my god.
That's what they're gonna do to me.
It's like a freaking Call of Duty lobby. Once
Yeah.
you stutter once, dudes are just on your ass the whole time.
Okay, I think that's good enough on that. We got 1 yes and 2 no's. There we go. That works for me. So
Excuse me.
I believe that's all we have for this episode. So again, just to reiterate, this Thursday, Throwback Thursday, very first episode on the YouTube channel, and everything else. The 3 of us, our socials are down below, as well as the other 4 people that never show up.
Well, 3 people, because Jared can't yet.
Oh yeah, true. 3 people that don't show up. Well,
The 3
one
that
other
don't and the
person
1 that
can't
can't.
really show up
So
because of.
Okay, so 2 people.
So the other 2 people that would normally be here that just don't show up. They're also down linked in the description. CreativeShooters.com. You can find everything. At Creative Shooters on Instagram. At Creative Shoot on Twitter, because Twitter doesn't give us enough characters. At
There it
Creative Shooters
is.
on TikTok. We're posting a lot more on there because we've been streaming. Twitch.tv/Creative Shooters. There we go. I think that's all I need to say.
All the shout outs.
Went over it all. So I guess that'll be it for this episode. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Creative Shooters podcast.
Peace.